Well, thank you so much, Vay. Now, by now, many of you know that millennials, Gen Zs, and AMA 2000s engage with the world very differently than we did. Now, they are tech savvy. They don't want to be boxed into anything. Youth Career Organization's Student Village says that one needs to take note of exactly how young people engage with companies for job opportunities and how they approach established enterprises like banks, insurance and telecommunications businesses. To tell us more about this, we're joined by Sechaba Sello, who is Insights Manager at Student Village. Good morning and thanks for speaking to us.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Now, Sechaba, this is a very interesting one because young people, and, starting right off the bat, just from the way they speak, the way they dress. And as parents, we usually have nightmares thinking this child is going for an interview. So let's talk about how it is that young people actually are changing the way in which one would normally engage with established businesses like banks and insurance companies.
Wow, great question. I think it's ever evolving. No two generations are the same. And we were actually fortunate to do this research to be able to uncover what this generation is like. We actually call them Generation Ys because the way that they interact is a lot more wiser than previous generations. It's even in how they're spending, how they approach credit. Are they a lot more cautious? So there's a lot more wisdom, if I can say, based on previous experiences, that they'll be able to make better decisions.
Wiser, you say. Wiser in spending my money, I would say, not so much their own, because they don't want to pay for anything. Sechaba, your people don't want to pay for anything. So what were some of the key findings in understanding young people?
Cool. So some of the key findings that we got, the first one I want to go with is one bank can't satisfy my needs. So we ran quite a few focus groups, and then what we found is that what the youth are doing is that they have more than one bank account, and they're using those bank accounts to play to their strengths. So if a bank account has got particularly good transaction fees, that's where they're going to do their transactions. If they've got good interest rates, that's where they're going to be doing their savings. So there's a large mindfulness around the benefits of an account and using it to their needs. So that's the first one that we found. The second one was around this time being a cashless and more creditless time. It being cashless because of what's happening, with COVID, and there's a behavior that's turning away from using cash. Think of before when, cash was the main thing being used and there was this uncertainty around shopping online. So that shift from moving to cash to online, and now what we foresee is a shift to cryptocurrency in the future. So that's where our thinking is at. Those are some of the key highlights that we got.
Very true in terms of the multiple email and banking accounts for different things. But what did your survey show with regard to credit? Are your wiser generation, are they very wary and wise when it comes to credit and how to optimally utilize it?
Correct. So what we found is that they're really credit cautious. They've witnessed their parents or their guardians being burned by credit. And in order to avoid that, they're a lot more cautious when approaching credit. One thing that we found as well is that we asked the question around, if you're looking to purchase a device, are you going to buy it cash or are you going to opt for contract and that sort of thing? And the general feeling around it was that I'd rather pay for it cash because I don't want to fall into a credit trap. It's not to say they don't want credit at all. It's just that we see it decreasing more and more.
Now, Sechaba, honestly, how many of them said that I would rather put the credit on my parent? Because that's also where they're very wise.
Correct. Look, it was actually interesting. So for the amount of youths that were in our focus groups, it ranged from 18 to 25. And in that range, we had some youths that were still staying with their parents and some staying on their own. So why we call them Generation Ys is that even though not all of them are paying for their own things or have their parents covering those things, there's still this wise approach to how they're spending or saving or using money and getting cover for their different items.
And when it comes to other financial products that we're so used to paying for, you find that young people want an all-encompassing type of product. They don't want to, be hopping from here to there. So talk to us about the concept of adulting light, because this is what you seem to call it.
Yes, yes. So adulting is a word that's going out quite a lot. It's like dealing with the major issues of life and how you're about being an adult. And adulting light, we came across it because when we asked the question around insurance, we saw that the youth that are in the younger stages of their life aren't really focused on like long-term insurance and that kind of thing. They're only focused on maybe the insurance of their device if they do have it. Your more senior youths, they're focused on your long-term insurances. So they'll be more focused on insuring their devices, their cars, household appliances and that kind of thing. And that's where, the adulting stages end up growing more and more.
And also it seems like, Sechaba, people like to complain about bad service or bad products. Twitter or social media, they say gets things done instantly and you don't need to wait for feedback via email or the post.
Correct. It was such an interesting insight to come across in the focus groups, because we asked, how do you guys lodge your disputes? Do you still go to the branch? Do you still go to the ATM? Do you still call into the call center? And a large response was that, nah, I just go onto Twitter, I tag whoever the brand is or the service, and the response time is far quicker than if I were to go in store or into the branch. Things are getting sorted quicker. It's like there's a higher urgency when it gets done on a social media platform for everyone to see, so that things can get done quicker.
And then Sechaba, Student Village also facilitates matching students with companies for work opportunities. Now, what is the job market outlook for students finishing university this year? Are they about to enter an even bleaker jobs market than usual?
I think, look, honestly speaking, I think it's a very optimistic. I have a very optimistic outlook on it, and considering everything that's going on, there's a large shift into digital. So I wouldn't say it's a bleak outlook, but in terms of opportunities, there are always going to be opportunities available. It's just about aligning with the correct skills and the correct offerings. If you'd like more info, please feel free to email us at info@studentvillage.co.za. And then we'll be able to feed you with more of our info around our insights pieces and opportunities that we're working with clients to connect futures of students to.
info@studentvillage.co.za is where you can go for more information. Thank you so much for your time this morning, Sechaba Sello, the Insights Manager at Student Village, for talking to us about youth trends when it comes to work and finance. And I can safely say, Leanne, I felt that one. I'm living through this one.